I was in DC when you guys were doing this last month.
Kyle, do I
Would
scroll
have
up to
rather
the
been
agenda?
here.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Yeah, so you
got it.
guys all know how to use that book one.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Did you go through them all?
just scroll up. You could use the up key if you want.
Aaron, Nikki's.
Bookmark is again, Kyle.
I didn't get the agenda.
Go ahead, you're gonna control, click that right there. Yep. And then up to the, that's gonna pull you all the way to the top. You might.
I got it.
a little bit, which is done. Oh, too far.
Your mic down there too.
All right.
All right, we're gonna call the April 15th, 2026 Parks and Recreation Commission meeting to order. First item of business is roll call. Kyle.
Commissioner Searing.
Here.
Commissioner Eckert,
Here.
Commissioner Moorhead,
Here.
Commissioner Tyson,
Here.
Commissioner Herdina,
Here.
Commissioner Lundmark.
Here.
All right. If you're able, please stand and join us for the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag, United States of America, to the republic for which it stands.
All right, thank you. Next item, open forum. Kyle, do we have any open forum today?
One.
Okay, thanks. All right. Tara Steenblock, welcome. Just for the record too, you just state your address and name when you come up, even though I just said it.
We'll repeat. Tara Steenblock, 1445 Bay Drive Southeast, Forest Lake. That was right. Did I do anything else? Yes.
Thank you, Tara.
Thank you. I am a new owner of the home that is right next to Bayview Park. And I'm new to Forest Lake, so nice to meet all of you. I moved in June. I can either speak now on some things that I had written down, or if you want me to wait till line item 7, I'm happy to do that. What would you prefer?
You can speak to that now.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'm just coming forward with an issue that is not new to the city or to the Parks Commission, as I understand, as I've been told by the old homeowner and by speaking to a few neighbors. I live right next to the Bayview Park, like I said, and I purchased my home in June of 25. I've not had a full year yet in my home to see and live through what each season brings to the park and the neighborhood. In speaking with the former homeowner and researching the Parks Commission meetings, what I'm going to be speaking about was discussed in detail multiple times and noted there had been an actionable vote taken by the committee, or by the commission, excuse me. It began when the prior homeowner requested the city to trim bushes and trees that were previously there that were leaning on the home's gutter and the fence. There was also a note of some burdock in that structure of border that was between the home and the park. I did see some pictures, and I do have some of those pictures from the prior homeowner. If you want to see those, I can email them to you, or I have them on my phone. And I understand that the old homeowner, Bill Moore, had come before you a few times, and there had been an actionable vote taken by the commission to leave the structure that was there for a border for the home between the park and the home. So I understand a few times that was voted on. We can go back through the notes, but it was my understanding that it was voted on to keep the structure and just remove the burdock that was the nuisance. So instead of trimming the trees, what was told to me, the city just went in and removed everything. So now it is just complete grass. It is open from my home to the park. So there's no border whatsoever to say, here's where I live, here's where the park is. There are from what the old homeowner told me, that immediately when that area was removed, kids, adults, dogs, there was traffic through the yard, and there still is today. It's really unfortunate. Previous votes by Miss Moorhead and Mr. Gary, who were commissioners at that time, show there were several votes to approve replacing what was removed to create the barrier again, but the city never did the work. So it just was voted on from the records and not put back in. It was just removed without warrant. And I would really like to understand why that happened. I have had communications with Mr. Young. Thank you so much for talking with me regarding replacing this barrier with another type of fence or hedge. One, to serve as a public barrier for my yard, and two, to serve as noise reduction. Now that I've lived in the home when the basketball courts are open, which are right, that area is right next to my home, it's continually used and very disruptive. The children playing in the park range from toddler through late teens, and the vast majority are unsupervised. One of the most disturbing behaviors I see is that when these teenage boys are there, and not just the teenage boys, but the ball constantly goes in and hits my fence all the time, from overpasses, overthrows. And when they go get the ball, they are looking over my fence. One of the panels has fallen out. I have 2 dogs, and they're barking at my dogs, disrupting my home and my animals. Between their behavior and the trees that the city had failed to maintain, it has caused damage to my fence, like I said, and one of the lattice panels has fallen out, and I wanted to just put that on record that maybe the city could help me pay for that. My yard is a thoroughfare, like I said, and it makes me uncomfortable. You spoke of the public wanting a green space in the park, or had that in the notes for the survey in the past. And I just want to say, why not start with the green space now? Let's add the green space back in there. From the pictures I saw, it was absolutely beautiful. Provide some shade for the green space for people to come and enjoy the park with their families, with their kids. And let's move forward with this in a positive way by adding the barrier to the park plan with beauty and function in mind. Thank you.
Okay. Thanks, Tara.
So just what we'll do is we'll bring that up with Dave, and we'll likely bring that back with any decisions that were made, or certainly commission having input if it goes up to council, and how that all works. So we'll bring that back and we'll follow up with you as long as the commission's good with that plan. Staff will follow up.
Thank you.
I don't mind that, because I know the new staff will probably follow up, but that was one of the problems back then. You know, there's a lot of talk about follow-up and a lot of talk about doing something, but it was never done, and just talk. So I don't want to leave Ms. Steenbach to think that this is just going to be another one of those times. I think we should put together some sort of a committee or something to look into the notes and figure out what we can do, because it is something that was destructive back then. You remove a barrier and then you don't put it back. Was not a good idea. And so if we can get to the bottom of it and then get back to Ms. Steenbach as quickly as possible.
Yep, we'll follow
Thank
up.
you. And I do appreciate that, just for the safety of myself and for my dogs.
Yep.
It's just unacceptable for that to happen, but
Did get that right. They're barking at the dogs. The dogs aren't barking at them. There was some barking in there.
no, my dogs,
It's strange to me.
no, my dogs, they're not, I mean, I have a privacy fence, and part of the fence I actually just put up was just a temporary outdoor fence. So I can actually see outside and enjoy the view. It's a beautiful area. And when I'm out there and there's basketballs, people playing basketball, it's great. It's like friendly, and it's a great neighborhood or a great area until the ball comes to my fence, and these older kids, it's like the 10 to 13-year-old boys that are coming over, and they're just over my fence, barking really loudly and being combative to the dogs and egging them on. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Item 6, approved meeting minutes from our March 15th meeting. Any additions or corrections?
Have a correction on number 12. I think the toy drive is actually brought up by Nikki. Was that?
You can
Yeah, I'm looking.
certainly address, so change to
Okay,
Nikki.
we got that, Kyle?
Yep.
Any other additions, corrections? Otherwise, a motion to approve with that revision be in order?
Motion to approve the minutes with the change.
A motion made, second,
Second?
Karen second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, that's approved. All right, now to some fun item, number 7, Bayview Park Playground. Kyle?
Yeah, so obviously we all know that we are doing a park project. It will be for Bayview Park. And as staff presented to commission, a couple different meetings, we were with Park Ideas, and we had talked about what we wanted to see in the park. And then staff had put that out to some contractors for an RFP. So obviously we've got those submissions. We got a total of 5. And we invited all of those folks here to do up to just a 5-minute overview. And then also just kind of open for a minute or two of questions if there's anything specific that commission has about the playground. All the proposals came in accurate with what we had asked, separate play areas, swing sets, trying to not lose too many amenities what the current park has, but also obviously knowing that we're updating it and there's going to be some other amenities that show up. So I don't think any of them missed any of the marks. There's several folks had supplied us with multiple options. So there's going to be option 1, option 2, similar to what it was like for Manor Park last year. So just kind of paying attention to that. One thing to just focus on is, the playgrounds as is. You'll see in the pictures, certain things can be adjusted. One thing that's common is like coloring. Coloring can always be tweaked. It doesn't have to be just what's in the picture. That's always a question that folks have. So just kind of noting that that's just because if you like that, but you just don't like the colors, that's not a reason to switch it up. Those things can be discussed. So with that, we're going to try to keep it in order in the packet. The packet includes, just so everyone kind of knows, basically all items that was proposed to us. So from prices to parts, how much those cost, all the different images, 2D, some 3D stuff that shows kind of different angles and all of that. So all of that's included in this packet that commission did review. And again, that was everything that we received digital from the RFPs. So everything's in that packet. I'm going to just kind of go through some picture slides as these folks are presenting, and they'll let me know if they want me to stop and kind of focus on a picture as they're presenting. And again, otherwise just we'll have them talk for 5 minutes and then open up for questions. And in the order that it is in the packet, we'll start with Flagship. So if Flagship wants to approach, just your name and address for the record, and then go ahead and give us a little overview of what you guys submitted.
My address as well. Bailey Wolf with Flagship Recreation, 17202 79th Court North, Maple Grove, Minnesota, 55369. Thank you for having me here today. I am here on behalf of my coworker Heidi. She is at training. So I have seen she has provided me with everything that was sent to you all in your packets, as well as our 3 boards over here. I have reviewed and looking at the 3 different options that her, along with our designers, have provided, we focused on 3 different price points, all of which focusing on a different aesthetic and type of play throughout. So the option 1 that you are looking at now that is scrolling through, that is the largest structure of the designs that is provided. And within that too, as mentioned, you can see it as well there. There is still a very good size 2 to 5 playground. And as well as the swings off to the side as well. This one is that first option is more of your traditional playground with shade integrated throughout, while still focusing on the large motor skills and focusing on balancing throughout. But more of a typical post and deck structure is what we call it. And then on to option 2 at a slightly different price point. This one, the main structure itself is a little bit smaller than what you see in option 1. It for the 5 to 12 structure with the 2 to 5 structure in there as well. It complements what is shown on the 5 to 12. In addition to having some independent, more spinning components throughout. With this option, that one is focusing more heavily on separate play areas and having not too many of the posts and deck where the kiddos will walk up, go across bridges, up to slides and then down. This one is in their imaginative play is integrated throughout this design, as well as incorporating instead of on option 1, you saw the larger shade structures. Throughout this one, we are incorporating a different roof system throughout the entire play area.
Kyle, could you just go a tiny bit slower so that?
I'm just matching her talking speed.
Wait, could you talk?
Yeah.
a little
Try to
faster?
I
talk
can-
slower.
can certainly.
They're just kind of flying by here with.
Yep. There's a lot to go over in 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And then our third option here, slightly lower price point, but for this one, you do get a tower. So not focusing on the linear play of the first 2 options. This one, it brings the kids up into the air. This one is our 10-foot tower for the 5 to 12 structure with additional independent components. And then off to the side, you do still have that 2 to 5 play area. And in all 3 options, we do have a variety of the different swings that were asked for in there. And then it was touched on, we are able, there are no upcharges for different colors. We have quite a large variety of colors to choose from, which we did our best to show different variety for each of the options.
And just for clarification, when we sent out the RFP, we did give a range of like 125,000 to 175,000 with the option to present multiples or just pick one and go with it. It's just nice to give a range of what was left with our budget. So
So on these pictures, again, could we get a range of what the options are? So I don't see it written unless it went so fast, I missed it.
The memo.
I know it's in the memo, but
yeah, so I think the first one was within that $175,000 range.
Yep, and I did write those down. Yeah, so option 1, if you do have those in front of you, that's just under the $175,000. And then option 2 is right at 150,000, and then option 3 is at 130,000.
okay, thank you.
And the beauty of all of the options that we were presenting is that this is our landscape structures. We are manufactured in Delano. So the beauty of this as well is we are right down the road and parts are so easy to get. And the playground set that was chosen for each of these, that it's the same variety that you can interchange anything within any of those options and it will fit together. So you can get a variety of different styles based off of that single play system.
Thank you.
All right, and then if we have any specific, parts questions, or I know I kind of heard some talk about maybe the roof structures, maybe some questions on those, certainly would be a good time to bring it up.
Yeah, I think I was going to ask that question, so maybe you can clarify a little bit more. So let's just say in the structure here, where the dark green panel is, and let's just say somebody were to have kicked that out, right? And we're like, okay, maybe we don't want that piece to be there anymore. Can we put something different in there as long as it fits in that piece? That's what I'm following, correct?
Yes, yep, and that's great. We do have, what we're showing are based off of just what we have installed and what has been the most popular. But if there are something, we have a variety of fine motor skills to music components on our play panels, or if you would just like a barrier or a bubble panel. So we have sometimes a little too much to choose from. But if there is a different aesthetic or if there's a different type of play panel that you're looking for in there, those can definitely be switched out. And it's easy too. It's a few weeks max to get that equipment to the city.
Okay. Thank you.
Are the services included in these bids? All the services look different. I don't know if it's just drawings or if we're going to have surfaces by different companies look differently, and is that included in the price?
So the surface is going to be rubber mulch, and that's going to be provided and done by us. So that does not necessarily play into their price points.
Okay.
Good question. All right, well, I think that's all for flagship. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes,
you.
thank you.
Next, we have Minnesota, Wisconsin, so MWP.
Hello, I'm Bradley Richardson with MWP Recreation. I'm at 4406 Douglas Drive North in Crystal, Minnesota. So for our first design, this is actually labeled as option 2. You'll see at the center that we have the main structure, which features a large integrated shade. This provides a great balance of climbing, sliding, and interactive play while keeping the overall experience more approachable with a wide range of ages and abilities. The built-in shade is actually going to be a key feature here as it improves comfort, supports sun safety, and helps extend playtime, which is critical for today's park users. To complement the structure, we've added freestanding equipment. For example, you'll see the Sensory Wave Climber, which adds unique tactile and visual elements. It encourages coordination, exploration, and sensory-rich play while also supporting inclusive experiences for children of different ability needs. We've also included a traditional swing set and surrounding benches, which are consistently some of the most used play features in the park, keeping seating close to the play elements, allowing caregivers to stay engaged while providing supervision. So that's the Sensory Wave Climber right there. Throughout the space, shaded seating and gathering areas help create what Game Time describes as multi-generational environments. These features increase comfort and promote longer stays. When families feel supported, they stay longer, kids play longer, and the park becomes a stronger community asset. Overall, through our research-based design, we emphasize accessibility, comfort, and inclusive play, creating a space where families of all types can gather, connect, and enjoy their time together. So you see some other freestanding items, including the communications panel, the benches, and then the shaded areas over the benches. And then that option right there, we did show one version that had a port-in-place rubber. Reason being is that with mention of inclusive design being an important aspect of the park, we wanted to show a true inclusive park where there was the inclusive surfacing. But our other renders do show the rubber mulch that he had described earlier.
Is this still option 2?
This is, yes. So I guess they're slightly, ordered differently. So on to the other option, option 1, building on that foundation, the second design shifts more to a more high energy destination style experience that encourages exploration and maximizes play capacity. The concept centers around what we call the Crystal Cavern style. And so with that, we create a theme adventure-based play environment. It's a multi-level structure with towers, slides, and a variety of climbing challenges that encourage continuous movement, exploration, and repeat visits. This design supports a more high capacity and allowing many children to engage at once without feeling overcrowded, which is important for a busy neighborhood park. Integrated in the structure, you see the gaming outpost, which is that tan feature in the back. This adds 20 interactive play activities focused on sensory engagement, social interaction, and inclusive design. So in addition to there being 20, 11 of those are at ground level, which promotes inclusive play. So there's a lot of ground level opportunities for children of all abilities, including those who may remain in mobility devices. Together, these components create a dynamic all abilities play environment where physical, sensory, and social play all happen in the same space, encouraging kids to play together rather than separately. Just like in the first design, I've incorporated shaded seating and gathering areas around the play space. These features support comfort and supervision while reinforcing the family-oriented experience and increasing overall length of stay at your parks. Overall, this concept delivers a high-energy playground that complements the first design by offering more vertical play and higher capacity and a strong sense of adventure while still remaining inclusive and community and having a community connection. So both concepts are built to strengthen Forest Lake's park system by creating inclusive generational spaces that encourage connection, activity, and longer visits, each offering a different approach. Both are designed to become valued community destinations. So yeah, I appreciate your time, and if you have any questions, please go
Done.
ahead.
So many questions. This is an important decision, and to make it like on the fly has gotten me crazy.
Absolutely.
So again, option 2, is there a price that you come in on?
So the first one,
Yep,
we came in right at 125,
125.
including installation. So right at the.
Is that option 2 or
bottom of
option
the-
1?
That is, so the one you're looking at now, it's kind of confusing. Is listed as option 1, but it was second. That
Okay,
is 175, right
okay,
at the top. And then the first one that you saw with the large shade, the fabric shade, that was at 125.
okay. So both of them are about 125.
125 and 175.
Oh,
The one on the screen is 175.
Yes.
I thought he said that was 120. Okay. And then my last question, you mentioned, which I'm going to mention later, about the surfacing.
Mhm.
One of these, was that included in your price?
So you'll see there's no surfacing included in the price. There's one image on each that show the tan. And that was, we were just showing a concept of using part in place, what that could look like. But the rest of the 3D images all show the rubber mulch, which Kyle had planned to do.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Northland?
Hello, everyone. Can
Hello.
you can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Bill Johnson, Northland Recreation, Little Tykes Commercial. Playgrounds. I'll just jump in. We have 5 minutes, so I'll jump in. Kind of want to do something different that you don't necessarily have right now. So we providing for the older kids, which you see on the picture, that's our age 5 to 12 structure. And it includes an entire structure of standard platforms, even though we have some really new cool stuff on it. But transfer station platforms, slides, kids go up and down. A brand new bridge. If you go back up, you can see that there's a rope bridge between the two decks. And we have slides at 64, 72, and 96 inches. So at 8 feet high. So all 3 heights for the older kids. There's shade on that. There's a spiral slide at 8 feet, multiple climbers. But one thing we did is we provided our energy hub, which you can see it's kind of the double arch system. So instead of just a traditional structure, that's more of a ground-based system where kids can make decisions however they want to use it without using the typical platform and slide thing. A lot of overheads on it, rope climbers, similar to the bridge. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds with both of those things in one structure. So we really crammed a lot of stuff into the space. I could go through individual components if you want, but we have the energy and the infinity climbers and the overheads with rings, about as much stuff as I could possibly put on there, for the money. We also have our 2 to 5 structure for ages 2 to 5. Yep. So the space got really tight, but we do have a double wide slide, some vertical climbers, bumpy climber, and another shade over the top of that as well. Swing set, benches, ground level activity. Like I said, I could go cylinder climber, all these different things, but we like I said, we really put as much stuff on here as possible. Last year we did Belts Park, that playground, including the surfacing, and I just wanted to provide something a little different than that. Being that's more of an inclusive ramp structure, and this doesn't have the space or the budget for that. But just some different things that you don't have, so that we think are really fun and exciting. I think it'd be a great playground. Now, the cost of this one is, I just did one option because I couldn't come up with a better one for option 2. 161 and some change, 161,047. So.
Any questions?
And we do have some ground, I didn't point with 2 to 5, we do have some ground level panels, for real little kids, activity panels, sensory panels. On the structure and music panels, actually a couple of really nice music panels. One's a piano panel, which is electronic, which we have something like that at Belts where you can play the piano.
Can you
Um,
see that on this one? Can you?
yeah, you go down a little bit more. And it's on the back side of that one. Go down a little more, right there. So on the platform, there's an electronic music panel up on the deck,
Thank you.
the piano panel, and then the ground level, there's a chime panel, which is fun. You can do all sorts of songs and things on that. We also have a solo spin in the corner. You can see it right on the left side there. So a spinner, it's a 2 to 5 or 2 to 12 age spinner. So kids can sit on it and spin around, which is fun.
What age did you say? Because we had some spinners or some rockers that, and the teenagers like to use them and spin and rock right off the platform. So what age do you think would be fitting on that,
For this,
for that little spinner thing?
it's a 2 to 12 or 2 to 5. It's for younger kids.
Yeah, we've had problems. Well, that's
I'm sure you're gonna
that's
get
another
big.
day,
Yeah.
but teenagers like to sit on that.
It's 2 to 12, but technically because of that, it's rated for 2 to 5 automatically. So yeah, we can swap that for something different if you wanted to, stand-up spinner or something different. That's not a problem. But and we have an ADA seat on the swing, tot seat, 2 belt seats. And yeah, any other questions, I'd be happy to answer them, but without getting into like every single climber, that's kind of the gist of it.
Lots of it.
Yeah, I think,
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
yep, thank you.
Yep, thanks for having us.
We got St. Croix.
Good evening, and it is evening. I said good morning to you, Karen, earlier.
Evening.
Sorry about that.
They caught up.
I'm Mike Bassich with St. Croix Recreation. I reside in White Bear Lake, 1761 3rd Street, beautiful downtown White Bear Lake. Thanks for having me. You will see first our option 1, and I did take some liberties with colors just to give you a little bit of a change up. Hopefully it won't be a change up and you'll swing and miss at it, but Burke is out of Fond du Lac, Wisconsin. We're not quite as close as Delano, but we are kind of we call ourselves a Midwest company. We integrate in this structure a very high multi-sail structure and a standalone cantilevered shade structure that sits over what we call playful furniture. And that playful furniture will fits very well in a neighborhood park because it will entice and encourage people to sit, watch their children, have lunch with their children. Maybe there's a neighborhood daycare that will bring kids and they can all sit there. And older kids that are playing basketball or bugging the neighbor can sit there and maybe further themselves from the neighbor. All very real things in a park that you have to be concerned with. On the swing side, we have the ADA bucket seat. We call it a freedom seat. We have a tot seat, 2 strap seats, and we have a Cirrus swing, which is a large dish swing, which is great, a multi-generational type of thing where 4 or 5, 6 kids can get on it, or you can take your small child and just rock them back and forth on it. The structure itself is a modified post and deck. There's a net structure, an asymmetrical net structure. Burke likes to say it's play that moves you, okay? And they really take to heart movement, and the experience of a playground shouldn't be the same every day you go to it. And if you're there alone or you're playing with your siblings or you're playing with your neighborhood friends, you're on a structure that moves. And for every action that you have, there's an action that somebody else is going to take. You have to be aware. It's more fun. It's something that you can hopefully kids in the neighborhood will grow into and not grow out. Put quite simply. In this design, we have a Castor Play Fort, which is it's only a 2-post structure in the bottom right corner of that picture right there. Yep. Has many manipulatives and elemental plays, over 25 different elements of play for the 2 to 5 or even younger kids. There's below deck spaces for use and for imaginative play, solo kids, or you can create a storefront out of it. I'm of the age where I have grandchildren now. I had kids, they were my testers growing up. Now I have testers of the testers. And it's fun to watch them play on playhouse activities and noticing some of the other competitors, they also incorporate that. That's something you should have, especially in a neighborhood park. One more thing there's a Comet right there. It's that round thing, very economical, but a lot of fun. We call it a Comet. It's accessible. It sits it's tilted so that one child can get on it and get themselves spinning, or you can put 5, 6, 7, 8 kids on it, or you can put 3 adults on it until they can't be on it. I can't even get on it. Okay, so that's our option 1. Coming in at both of my options are right at the high dollar limit. Figure that's easy. You can make choices as you wish to diminish that if you need to by making changes. This is option 2, and you'll notice that primary to this one, we've got a tower structure. And that gets you up to 168 inches, which is, my math is poor. I went to public school, but I think it's a 14-foot deck, give or take. You get way up there. There's only one way down. It's that slide. But you'll go through a net. You'll go over the top. You're up there. Okay. It's accessible. This one really is full of progressive changes. You see the victory wall there. That's up to a 10-foot deck. That is just like the ninja courses where you're ringing the bell once you get to the top of it. And from there you can go down or you can go up the climber. This one also has the cantilevered shade, has the playful seating underneath it, which again for all ages of kids. And then you have our playhouse. Because of the towers, that takes a lot of budget. We incorporated this design, the playhouse versus the Castor Play Fort, but you have almost, there's over 20 elements that move and will draw the attention and the imaginative play capacity for the really young kids. And that's a space where older kids will play with younger kids too, and grandparents will play with their grandchildren. And again, you have the same swing setup with the same Cirrus swing, which I think is a great addition. So that is option 1 and option 2. I'll entertain any questions.
Questions?
When you said upper, I mean, you were up in the 175 area for?
Yep, both of them are, is
Okay.
that right, Kyle? You've got that? Yeah, I believe so.
Yep.
Oh, I can
Both
go
at
to another day.
175.
I'm sure.
So,
Thank you.
Thanks.
thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks for having me.
We have Compan.
This is going to surprise you. It's 24307 Apple Tree Lane, Plainfield, Illinois. So
Oh, boy, welcome.
flew in today for this meeting. I am representing our local reps who had some other things going on. So I'm the regional manager for Compan. Unique to us, I work for Compan. I work for the manufacturer, so does our entire team. So we're not repped by anyone. We're direct from the manufacturer. We have local reps throughout the world. We put in 700 playgrounds a month. So we're pretty good experts at what we do. So today, I kind of want to talk a little bit about the background of our company and what we're rooted in. We are a research and development company, first and foremost. Secondarily, we are an engineering company. So everything that you see has been thought out in play. It has been thought out in child development. We have full-time PhDs on our team. I can call one up right now and she can tell you all about it. I unfortunately am going to have to do it because we only have 5 minutes. When we look at an entire space, we look at every aspect of it. So our first thing is we want kids to walk up to it and go, wow, this is a place I want to play. And then we want them to want to spend as much time as possible there. So that's the stay aspect. Our research has shown that it's about a 30% increase the amount of time that kids spend on our playground equipment than any other manufacturer. The third thing is we want them to develop. So we want there to be something for the next day, every single time they go, from the time that they're 6 months old all the way till the high school, middle school kids that we don't want to be on playgrounds. If they have something that they can actually do, they stop being a nuisance and start being contributors. They start helping other kids on the playground. So, everything we do in the over engineering aspect is we have tamper-proof. All of our hardware is tamper-proof. Everything's covered up. If for some reason somebody does get to it, we've got local reps that have the few amount of parts that you'd have to get. And again, you're working directly with the manufacturer at all times. So pretty easy to do that. All of my reps keep some parts on them too. And if they see something like an age sticker or a do not cap or something missing, they just fix it and say, hey, I was over there and I did something for you. On the first design, so we stuck with about the $150,000 range across the board, because the way that our structures work is you can very easily take things off and add them on. So if you wanted to get to 175, we could do it with, very easily. And we also could bring it down if we needed to take a couple things off and not really lose any play value, because there's so much packed into it. So both of them, there's really three. One is an alternative. So a little bit different thought process than most is our 2 to 5. So when I started working in playgrounds about 5 years ago, I'm an exercise physiologist that specializes in child development and child fitness. So I hated 2 to 5 structures. I thought they were the most boring thing. And I always saw kids that were in the 2 to 5 range wanting to climb on the other stuff. They wanted to play with other kids. And I really wanted things that were more inclusive. And we came out with our mini monkey trails and our mini domes about a year and a half ago. And it changed everything of what play means to that age category. So now the older kids want to even play with the younger kids on those pieces. And that, for me, the truly inclusive environment of having kids of all ages, all abilities, be able to play on the same structures just in different ways, that's what builds a real community and makes it a park that everyone wants to play in and can play in. As far as the inclusive aspect goes, our inclusiveness is very nuanced. You won't see Compan making pieces that are specialized for kids that have mobility issues, because we want them to feel as special as they should with other kids playing in the same way or in just a little bit different way with the other kids. So things like our seesaws, they are specifically designed to be very easily transferable. We have tons of research on it when we put the whole thing through. There's entire videos of what the changes were made to make that be very inclusive. We include the both the static climbing and dynamic climbing. So static climbing will get you're on something that's stable and you get those bearings and you get that confidence. And then the next time you can go up to something that's more dynamic and has some play to it. And within that dynamic, there's different sizes of the shapes of the core cord. So on some of them, it's going to take you it's going to be a little bit more challenging, and others, it's going to be a little bit easier for you to do. So kids feel that ability and they feel that, oh, I conquered that and I didn't do that last time, but I followed Johnny this time and I did. Another really inclusive aspect, we do have our ADA swing, which a child can actually push it themselves, so they don't need to have somebody push them, which is also very good for their self-esteem. But the nest swing is second to none. A child who can be transferred can be sitting there with their siblings, with kids older, with kids younger, and not have to be buckled into a ADA seat. Lots of play panels, and those can all be traded out. The picture right now is one of the mini monkey trails, and this is our alternative that had the roof on the monkey trails, and then the other one did not have the roof on it. The other 2 to 5 that we put in, so we have the double tower, which is this one, which this is the alternate version, but it's the same as the first one. So there's multiple towers to get up, all kinds of different ways to get up to the top. And we chose to put an open slide to only go up as high as an open slide would be capable of handling, because in public spaces, most people want transparency. They want to be able to see their kids. They want to make sure that there's no unhomed people or, somebody that shouldn't be there hiding in a slide or hiding in a space. So we're all about that transparency. A parent could be across the park and see their kids at all times. The other option, we did a ramp structure, and not necessarily a ramp for accessibility to mobility devices, although it does accommodate that, but more for the younger child who, again, in that 2 to 5 range, most of the time it's more like a toddler. And if you've ever seen a 2-year-old who's trying to get up the stairs to go down a slide, it can be a little scary. But this way, they can crawl, they can roll, they can do all kinds of things to get there. So it has some benefits as well. But I'm a huge fan of the Monkey Trail Mini. That kids will spend days on that. This particular tower has the 3 different levels of slides. And what's great about this is even though it's a 5 to 12 certified ASTM, that first level is great for kids that are 2 to 5. They will go on it and they can't get up higher because of the ways you have to get up to that tower. So there's all kinds of things internal to that tower of little rock climbing walls and rope climb to get up there. So you can take different ways to challenge. So it's got a lot of things that you can't really see. And like I said, the tons of play panels that are going on there, there's hours and hours and hours of play every time. And then as the spinners, one of the things that drives me crazy about going on spinners is when they're not smooth, so that's another area that we are over-engineered. I have a spinner, one of our spinners, and we have the same bearings on all of them. But I have a spinner that has been in sand for 30 years and it still will make you sick. It spins so well. So it doesn't matter if those 15-year-old, 16-year-old kids are going on it and messing with it. I guarantee the bearings have a lifetime warranty. And for movable parts to have a lifetime warranty is pretty exceptional. So that's my little pitch. Questions?
Questions, anyone? All right. Well, thank you.
Let's just go play. Let's go find a playground and go play. That's what I want to do. Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Well, thanks to us together is not an easy thing to do. So appreciate your time and interest in putting them together for us and coming tonight. Some of you traveled pretty far, so thank you.
Very
that.
much.
So I guess we open it up to commission discussion. Got a lot to work through here. We're going to go down the line, maybe just some initial thoughts. What? Questions?
From that quick view of things, I like some of the things that are more transparent. I don't like a lot of covered things. And another thing is the really high slides. While they're fun and at Belt Park, you can't probably find one too much higher. But I think in this little neighborhood park, I see a smaller climbing. It's not impressive to me to see a great big tower climbing because it's just a small little park, but a couple, I mean, I just wrote some notes, but I'll wait and see what people think.
I like the,
Go
I like
go
the
ahead, Sue.
option of the shaded bench, 1 or 2 located in there. It's kind of a nice option for parents or grandparents.
Oh, really? Gosh. Which options were they in? Do you remember?
Oh gosh.
Probably.
Yeah, a couple in the earlier ones.
I'm looking back at Northland.
Northlands maybe?
I don't know how quickly you can get these things up. I mean, you can do things very quickly, so maybe you can get that up quickly. Sorry to be such a pain about that, but this is big time decision.
Yeah, it's a lot.
You're not being a pain,
Flagship
Karen.
had some, and I think Northland, so in their presentation.
Aaron or Nikki, any thoughts?
I myself do also like the shaded part. I'll tell you, it's one thing. I'll bring my kids at 7:30, 8 o'clock when I'm not scorching hot.
Yeah.
It's just something to be said. I think if we have it, it's better. I think the table and chairs are a big thing too. Families will utilize those more for picnics, for dinner, for lunches if they're there. So I like both of those. I don't really have any negatives on anything.
So Chair, can I just add something about that park?
Absolutely.
So something that's not in that park right now is like a pavilion gazebo, and that's something that will be going into. Just keep that in mind, just, additional to the playground. Yep, so just keep that in mind.
Okay, thank you.
When
Karen?
I first came and looking at them all and thinking of Belts Park, and I know that we have disagreement on this, but when I see kids up there and they're all crammed into one little space and then there's a lot of open space where not much is going on, a couple of them that I wrote down were more spread out. And I had talked to some people that didn't agree with that. They think it's okay to have it all in one spot, but maybe I'm a little claustrophobic. But when I go up there and see all the kids, they're all just, one's looking this way and doing something, one's right behind them doing something else. And it just seems like they're all kind of caged in together. So I like that open look. That was, in fact, one of them was nice enough to say it's kind of crammed in there. And I thought, see, I want it uncrammed if I would look at it. But that's important to me. I do like the the smaller structure. Again, when I've been in parks and seen a lot of little structures for them, the little ones, there's not much to do except crawl in and crawl out. And so I like the idea, and I'd have to write which down it was, where you had a little more active 5-year-old space. Tough.
Yeah, they're all great designs. That's,
Yeah, I'm the opposite side of the coin. I want as much stuff in there as I can get
I want
for the
stuff,
kids that have the most options. Well,
but I don't want them all in one spot. I want some over there.
challenges is the footprint,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, we want a lot of stuff for sure.
The fan of the kids go there, they're gonna be,
The trip worth it.
yeah.
Yeah, you have to have a lot of opportunities, but they don't all have to be in one bunch, is my point. At Belts, they are kind of all in one bunch. If you notice when you go up there, all the activity is there. And maybe that's I don't know, cost of course, is going to be an option. And I like the one where it's kind of in the middle and you can go up and down according to what we maybe come up with as what we all would think is necessary. Other than starting out with just one price. You can see I'm confused tonight, right,
It's gonna
Tyler?
be, yeah.
Kyle, was information submitted on the warranties on these? Is there a difference?
You know, that I don't know right off the top of my head. Typically, you know, with replacements, it's pretty standard that, I mean, you're gonna get some time on them. You know, some things do come lifetime for sure. I don't know that all parts come lifetime. I would like to think they're pretty similar from shop to shop, but we could probably have experts here to ask those questions, even if they specifically want to share if they're 50/50 lifetime or if there's certain parts of your playgrounds that are lifetime. That's something that's, I think, fair to ask the folks that are here.
Kind of generation warranty. I think it meets or beats everybody. We're all very similar in warranty. Moving parts are generally, perhaps except for a couple things, 2 years, 2 to 5 years on moving parts and that type of thing. But we're all pretty comparable. I want to speak for me, but not for them.
I would say, yeah, exactly what he said, but supposed to be what the generational warranty like you described, and maybe some of the moving parts, having a 2 to 5 year warranty, depending on what it is.
And ours are generally around that as well. We have some parts going up to eight years as well, and then it's the silliest thing. Our posts are warranted for 100 years. That would be
We'll
what
see
I
for
call.
Ours is-
Yes,
How
for
about you?
100 years. With that too, we do, Placia does a lot of retrofits. Utilizing that 100 years, and so that we can come in and replace out with a new, fun and upcoming, components that are.
Yeah, I can't speak for Compan, but I mean, the 4 of us, our warranties are very similar. I mean, 100 years on post, which is definitely a generation or. They're very similar.
Lifetime on post, 10 to 15 years on our panels, which by the way are made of post-consumer waste. So it's all sustainable. And then 5 years on those moving parts minimum, but the bearing is lifetime.
Okay, thank you.
But just because we didn't have the microphone there for the most part, everyone but Compan, you know, and Compan also kind of follows in line with 2 to 5 moving parts, you know, minimum 5 year for Compan, post 100-year lifetime. And then, you know, Compan also has a panel and then bearing that plays.
Go ahead.
You going to want us to come up with the option that we like tonight and figure out the actual things that might be in it according to the price line after that?
So what we're looking for, yeah, is to select an option. You know, we, obviously, all of these come within budget, right? So we're, with our planning, I mean, we don't have to necessarily worry about, oh, are we spending over budget? It's really, do we want to go up to budget or not? I mean, we don't have to necessarily worry about picking away. But really the biggest thing is, yeah, coming up with the option, and then clarifying option number, vendor, and then just making sure the price, so we get that all verified, and then ensuring that we have a color scheme. So we're pushing you guys tonight a little bit on this.
I was gonna say, whew, okay.
I'm gonna start one because I know it's gonna take a while.
Want us here for this, or do you guys want to, it's more comfortable if we are not here and you guys can talk?
We love you all. We'll start with that.
I appreciate that, Bill. And it's, I guess it's up to you. It's a public meeting and certainly you can watch the video later, but I
Appreciate.
I'll say to answer questions, but I don't, if you want to talk and decide different things without, you know.
I agree with the other gray hair guy.
Yeah.
We haven't gonna talk age at this point.
It's like,
how's everybody at rock, paper, scissors?
Yeah. Min.
yeah, I think you got my phone number. If
Yeah.
you have any questions for me, I'd be happy to answer my call and we're gonna call it. talk.
Okay.
I just don't-
Okay, appreciate it.
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay, yeah,
Are we good?
Thank
Go
you.
ahead.
Yeah, we're all good.
Thanks, everyone.
yeah, thanks for your time again.
Oh,
Thanks for,
And windows to clean.
And I'm looking here at these computer screens and I'm trying to see it. I see it a little bit better on the bigger and I
What?
apologize.
why don't we take a 10-minute recess so people can look at the boards and then we'll reconvene.
Thank
Let's
you.
do a 10-minute recess.
What are you in?
Well, that's the most time we've.
Right.
For all the time.
Hang on, we do need a motion and a second to do a recess.
Okay.
So if we can all get back seated, we do have to have a motion to recess.
What's that?
So can I get a motion to recess?
Like to make a motion to recess to look at the pictures.
Thank
Okay.
you, ma'am.
Second?
Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, all right. Thanks, Kyle.
Yeah, you can't make a move without a motion.
Thanks, Kyle. All right, call the commission meeting back to order here at 7:11. We just took a little bit of a recess to take a break and to have us individually examine the boards that were here on the different options. And now we'll have some commission discussion on the options and that we've looked at the boards. I think we all know, the good news is the proposers all great designs, making our job tough. And they also all meet the budget, so really finances are not an issue with anything we pick. They're all within budget. We also know that each one can have some customization afterwards, and I would suggest after we pick a firm, Kyle and Dave will be sitting down with those firms, and if we can come back with some detail options, if we have some, but that customization can happen later. I think we heard from every firm is it's a different slide, a different thing. Those things can be worked out, but extra shade.
Those types of things.
Yeah.
And the things we were looking at whenever, looking a little closer was shaded areas for the families to sit while they're watching, but we did talk about the gazebo being there, so wasn't as big of a piece. The different types of play structures for the kids to play on, I think they all did a nice job at providing that. It was nice to see the pictures up close and a little bigger instead of on the computer screen. For me, so it helped me lean towards the ones that I thought raised to the top for myself.
Okay, thanks, Melissa. Yeah, once again, with all the options here and all the good designs, it's not easy, but any thoughts right now and maybe an option that people are liking, one or two? Moving ahead,
I'm leaning towards the Northland
okay,
or the Cotman. Option 1, the 2 to 5 area, and option 2 for the 5 to 12.
okay,
I would agree on the compound. On the Northland, is that what you said first? That's where he admitted he has a lot of things crammed in there. And I thought there was too many crams in there. I mean, when he said that, I agreed with him 100%. So I didn't like that one for that reason. It's also a little higher. I like the compound because you can go up or down with one of the things that we don't want or do want, but
okay,
just my opinion.
yep. That's why we have a commission, Karen, so. Okay.
I agree. The more and more I think about it, Bayview truly isn't far from Belts. It's a block and a half. And so I kind of agree with Karen on potentially not having another 3-structure one, just knowing that Belts is up the street and that does have one if we need it. And if we want to focus more on the smaller, not so compact. You know, for me, I think as long as the company really can stand by their word that they can, you know, for compound that they can have somebody here, that's just what. But
Okay,
They just have a rep that could show up. I did like the play area and the option 1 of the Cotman for the 2 to 5. That looked like kids are gonna have fun. Young ones.
Sliding down.
for a little guy. I do like the electronic.
Sewer, Melissa, any comments?
I was just gonna look at the cost of option 2 on the landscape design. Trying to find my page now.
Landscape, which one? One is landscape.
Cost of that.
The landscape structure
Bailey,
2, option
Miss-
2 was
Miss-
150.
Wisconsin.
So if we're looking to not cram so much stuff in, I would, my favorite out of those 3 sitting there would be the landscape design option 2, but I do like the Northland one because they do have a lot of good features.
Okay.
And we're just tracking.
Same
here
thing,
today.
yeah.
Because Northland, I like a lot. I know it's all crammed in there, but there's a lot of really neat climbing things that aren't as available there. It's different than Belts. It's from the same manufacturer, but different. But then landscape number 2, I like the way that looks. It's spread out a little bit more. It's got the bridges and things like that. I feel like the younger kids station on that one is pretty good. I know that the Compan, their younger kid, the 2 to 5 is awesome, but we can't take 2 to 5 out of theirs and then the older ones out of the other one. It just doesn't work that way. So I am gonna stick with, my top 3 would be Northland, number 1, landscape option number 2, and Burke would be my 3rd.
I didn't write landscape down on any of my things. What are they, what else would they be called? Or
The
is that,
flagship recreation.
is flagship?
Flagship.
Okay, they were the very first one.
Okay, sorry.
And I
was
do-
just-
Yeah.
I-
yeah. Oh, it's a flagship option, okay.
I have no on option 3. Option 2 was one of their cheaper ones. It was maybe okay. And the first one I think was just too much. So, I mean, at the end, we'll have to go with something, but I do think that we have a lot at Belts right around the corner for big people. And I like the fact that we have some things for little people. That is a very small park. You're not going to find a lot of older kids going to the Green Park, at least not to this point. So,
One of the residents.
And I think
that
the-
he primarily sees 4 to 8-year-old kids.
yeah, I would.
A lot of daycare, like home daycares.
Yeah, when I stopped out at the
taking
park,
kids there to
So maybe that.
play, so it's a lot more younger kids going to the
Yeah.
park.
when I stopped at the park, and that was to
Flagship option 2 is.
last year, we were talking about improvements here, and I ran into a mom who had her daycare kids there, and besides, I sent notes to Kyle on that, besides keep the swings.
Definitely.
That's why I would agree that we haven't picked anything with a large tower. This is all suited to what we at so far with smaller kids.
Mhm.
Now-
Karen, I appreciate the cramming thing. I will say Northland is the one company that provided an aerial diagram of how this would all lay out versus do it in 3D. And when you look at that, it's spread out, and there's codes for this
Well, you mean the black and white thing?
diagram.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm a color person.
I
It-
think it's,
That part.
the one thing that I caught the presentations is that this is the one company that said, we're going to give you what you don't have now. We got a lot of parks. And so getting something that we don't have now is similar to what we did with Manor. We didn't have a fish. Hey, now we got a fish. And so that really gravitated me. The second thing where I'm at is, I know it's an open competition, but also Northland has proved themselves on Bell's Park as far as performance and getting the work done. And then there are some unique things here they're providing that none of the other manufacturers are providing. So for those 3 reasons, I'm at Northland as my number 1.
Like I said, I showed him to my son, and as soon as he saw Northland, he's like, that one.
Did
Yeah.
you see all of them?
Yeah.
Because-
Kyle?
Chair, if I can just add something really quick to Chair's point with Karen's comments about like the crammed. There is, like Chair said, codes, the layouts, like they have so much space they could take up. So even though if you see a lot of things crammed in, they do have their own, minimum areas that they have to make sure there's allowed. So it's not like you can have 2 slides that are gonna have kids crashing. So just keep that in mind.
That's understandable. And from the slide perspective, I don't think we have a choice. They're all the same. They're not slides, swings. And so when you go and look at Northland, you can see everything's in one spot, and then there's 2 open areas, both on the corner, one wing, one the other. If we could put something better in, I didn't like their small group, their small equipment, what do you call it, a little small area, 2 to 5 area? Because I think we have a lot of little things that don't do much, but the others that I thought catered to the smaller kids
That's,
was what I was looking at. The big, tall things don't impress me, how many slides or whatever, because that's not who I see over there, and that's not who the neighbors saw over there. Would it be something your son liked? Of course. But that's,
So just to note on those kind of like open spaces, this is Northland's aerial that includes just kind of like, you can see these skinnier lines that shows where they cannot put another piece of equipment. So even though it seems like there's some open areas, oftentimes they really can't put anything else in just because of the amount of space their equipment does need. So just
So the bigger spot needs more so that there isn't as much room for a smaller spot, is what you're saying.
correct. Yeah, some of those areas take up more of that
Right.
open space. So they can't do anything in there.
Beams in the front and the back of the swings, obviously from swinging. And going back to the kids, the little guys. Is that maybe why flagship kind of draws me number 2? If you look at option number 2 for flagship, if you can scroll to that. Because that one there, even though there's the big kids and the little kids, I think the big kid is just as accessible for the littles as the little section is. And it's got the double slides, which I kind of like that. They're,
yeah.
partner sliding.
It's similar to the
Same
Northland
thing.
layout too.
I did put a yes by that one, but at the higher number, so it would have been option 1 for the flagship.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
was
know. To
option
me, this
number
is just
2, the
too much, too
150,000
soon,
alone.
too.
Well,
I don't think we can make a bad decision, but,
Right.
yeah, it's,
well, we are hearing some preferences
kinda
so far. I don't know if we're
interesting,
ready to,
Oh, there's potential cast right there.
between 2 options right now, that's what we're
Kids don't
talking
have
about.
those anymore.
Maybe take
Need to have
about
more of them.
Yeah, the flagship option 2 in the Northland.
flagship option 2 and Northland appear to rise to the top right now.
Well, see, they weren't mine at all, so.
Oh, well,
So if we take a vote on something and
we
then
can take
just
a vote
go.
and see where it goes.
okay. All right, does somebody want to make a motion for something?
Captain, do we?
Okay,
need to
so the
make a
2 motion
motion to
options,
vote
where are they?
Between the 2?
No, we can make a motion for a design, and then if it doesn't get voted up, we move it to the next option.
Okay, I make a motion to,
And it'd be a motion to recommend to the council.
motion to recommend to the city council to approve purchasing Northland's option 1.
Yeah, they only have one option too, so.
So I'm just pulling up the Northland option, so everyone's on the same page, and then Sue can confirm. This is the option she's looking at.
Option 1.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sue made a motion to recommend to the council Northland Recreation, option number 1. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Aaron seconds. Discussion. Karen?
Cause it's not
I
like
said
that
it
tall, it's
before.
only an 8-foot slide. You got the big weight belts and you got that one there.
Well, if there's no more discussion, I guess we'll take a vote. All in favor of recommending to the council Northland Reclamation option 1, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
No,
Sorry.
still 4-2, that's
I,
okay.
well, I
Four to
went,
two.
yeah, they'll, yeah,
Yeah, yeah, both of them are good options.
yeah, both are good options.
Okay, so
I like
So-
the.
motion passes 4-2 with Melissa and Karen on the no side.
Get them.
I mean, I think for me too, I think here's the thing is we can swap things out,
Right.
right?
Yeah, you can
Let's-
make adjustments to
mean,
it.
I love the fact that it's the same company that did belts. I think it's very smart for us to keep it, if they're doing a good job,
Mhm.
nothing's broken, why are we fixing?
It's being used.
And it's being used.
And they had the higher price
And I mean,
by
this-
far.
this-
175 was,
No, they're 161.
161, yeah.
They're a
They're
lower
they're
price.
below our max. So we have some,
oh, I'm sorry, I'm the
we
wrong
have
one. Yes,
budget room
160.
for, hey, you want more covered seating?
So there's
All right,
an,
I know this
Maybe
was,
that's an
I
option.
know this wasn't easy and,
yeah,
But it's done, that's good.
but
But it's done, it's good.
gonna be a great part.
yeah.
I'm not
Kyle?
gonna play on it, but that's all right.
So,
Aaron, we'll get you put on the slides.
all right, so
Yeah, the spinner
we
is
have a
great.
couple more motions here that I believe we are looking for. So just to clarify, so Northland only provided one option. So it's just the name of the vendor, Northland. We also do need a motion to recommend city council approve the Bayview Park project not to exceed the 2026 funded amount of 450,000.
I make a motion to recommend the city council approve the Bayview Park project not to exceed the 2026 funded amount of $450,000.
Okay, Melissa moves, a second.
I'll second.
Aaron seconds.
Is there any discussion?
Discussion?
Because I don't know how much, anything costs, but from what we just voted to have, I think we have to talk about that surface. You're having a little neighborhood park that is not ADA. Maybe their little rubber things are, but the problems we've had that with rubber. So I don't know how much more it would cost to put down a better.
$130,000 allocated for the surface.
So the surface that the 130,000 is a surface that's already being done by us. So you're talking about the pour in place similar to belts. Typically that just doubles your park price.
Oh,
So if that playground that we just voted on is $161,000, that pour in place would make it 320,000.
What would options be for besides the rubber?
It's wood chip, pebble, rock, or yeah.
just the rubber.
Kids
mulch.
just throw it around and make a mess and nobody can put a wheelchair on it or anything.
It's certainly a challenge. It's pretty typical. You see in the larger community parks try to go with the pour in place like Lakeside. We have that, but it's these neighborhood parks. You start to get very spendy for a neighborhood park
Yeah.
playground.
It's a smaller.
Kyle, I recall Dave had a number for that. Do you have that off the top of your head?
What we have allotted,
No, more than the what was it? We got 130 right now for a rubber, but I thought Dave had a number for that going to a rubber mat.
like the pour in place.
Yeah.
Yeah, it usually is double the playground price.
Double? Okay.
Yep. That's typically, so like belts, if it was a $600,000 project, you're doing 300,000 on a playground, 300,000 for a pour in place. That's typical.
You said we have allotted 130,000 for that.
Mhm.
So that
It's in
would
the budget.
double if the whole park wouldn't double, but that would double.
You would, your pour in place would be twice the price of,
131 or what?
Of the.
correct, but I don't believe the 130,000 is
That's
just
just
for
mulch.
that's
No,
not just
but I'm
for,
saying
the 130.
doubling the whole park.
The 130,000 includes the install of the playground border and the mulch. So the breakdown of that, I don't know right off the top of my head, but typically the border is going to be more than just the mulch. So you're probably, to your point, if it costs 160,000 to get the pour in place, let's say we have 40,000 allotted for the mulch. So now you're saying an additional 120,000 for the pour in place. So the pour in place would be I think outside of the budget with everything that's planned from the 450,000 with the removal, the new border, the rubber mulch, the basketball court being done, the benches, the trash, all that stuff you'd be well outside your budget to go from mulch to pour in place. You'd have to make some major cutbacks.
Can I make a couple suggestions on that? Like I was just reading through here. So shade, shelter and surfacing. What kind of shade do we have?
So that's going to be that additional gazebo.
Gazebo.
And then like the surfacing, I believe with that is talking about like the path to get to it and the path coming through the park, that's all being redone, separate than the playground.
Where's the gazebo going to go? On one of those
Um,
parts that they couldn't put anything else in?
Layout of the park itself. I can't
Yeah.
remember what it-
I mean, they couldn't put any playground thing, but we're going to put a gazebo there.
Well, that's the playground has a container.
Okay.
The container is the exact size of it's listed in the report here somewhere, but that's by no means the size of the park. The container is let's just say a fifth of the park. So we have additional green space. You have that green space along the path. You got the parking lot, the basketball courts. That gazebo is going to get built in along the path, I believe, close to the basketball court.
So the issue is the motion was made on what's the budget and there's concern that we don't have, if we want to have that poured in place floor, the budget's not going to cover that.
It's a budget out of the
You'd have
Well,
to
we
make a
can-
lot of
We
major.
can make a recommendation to the council that they increase the budget to include a poured in floor, or a poured surface, at least consider it. And that's,
Nothing ventured, nothing gained.
that's within our purview is
Provide an estimate.
we can make a motion to approve the budget, but also recommend that staff present an option for a poured floor, whatever we're calling it,
Pour in place.
and with an estimate.
What is that? What
Put
kind of
'em in.
material?
Like Bill's Park.
Big Belts Park, it's like the rubber floor.
Okay, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Okay.
It's just for wheelchairs, baby carriages and that kind of thing. And also the kids throwing the rubber mulch everywhere.
It also could be an option, Kyle, where you just put that in as not the whole rectangle, but in the active areas too.
I was gonna say maybe the 2 to 5 area. And then I know that the big kids are the ones that ruffle it around, but the big kids are gonna be the ones without the strollers and the wagons and everything else, where your 2 to 5s is gonna be moms, their I mean, you
Well-
know, and their whole
I
hullabaloo
see
that's
your
going.
point, and I appreciate that point, but to me, they're gonna get the rubber mulch wherever it is and throw it wherever they want. That isn't gonna be, they did that certainly at Belts over and over and over again. But, so, I'm not even sure that I think it's a good idea to just suggest it and see what they say. But I don't think they're gonna go for it, because then all of our other little parks are gonna be wanting to go, why don't we have it?
Yeah, this is gonna be a challenge because I think council had approved coming in with the budget of the 400,000 or 450,000. So they've already approved that amount. But I mean, again, to Chair's point, we can say that we're approving this not to exceed with the question on, are they willing to do it for the poor in place? And then if they're not, we're still moving forward with
Yeah.
don't exceed 450,000. And then here's our Northland option for the playground. So is that, I mean, am I,
That makes sense.
So the motion, and I apologize, I think,
People are complaining about it.
did you make the motion, Melissa?
Still there.
So the motion would be
You
modified.
go blowing up a
Okay.
budget.
So Melissa's gonna modify the motion here.
Everybody ready?
Ready?
Okay. I make a motion to recommend the city council approve the Bayview Park project not to exceed the 2026 funded amount of $450,000, but to also review the option of putting a pour and what it would cost to put a pour in place instead of the mulch.
The commission recommends the council consider additional funding to do a pour in place. Okay. How's that sound for everyone? Good?
Good.
All right.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Hi.
Aye. Opposed? Right.
and then the last thing is just to,
We're not,
just to throw a wrench in your guys' plan, the Northland, the color scheme that they have provided, making sure that we're happy with that. Again, color schemes can be adjusted. I don't think I saw additional options. Certainly, there's nothing wrong with those colors. I think the one thing we did recommend as staff was just try not to match like the Belts Park colors, to try to avoid that. But certainly the colors they've provided, staff, I don't see any arising issues with those colors, but just to make sure we're all on the same page, are we approving those colors as is?
I personally, we're in Forest Lake and I haven't seen a single gold and maroon color themed park.
Yeah, but
And everything in this city is gold and maroon.
But
I would kind of like to see a gold and maroon park.
Colors like of our, as good as it gets, isn't this blue and green?
Yeah, so that's your thing, the Forest Lake School District colors are maroon and gold, but the city colors are the green, the blues.
Right.
throw them all off if we
I'm
don't
thinking
have a
about all
lot
the
of green
kids that
on
go
that,
to
'cause
school
it's
with
always,
Forest Lake and
Okay,
see
yeah.
maroon and
The
gold.
School and everything they do is maroon and gold.
and the school does, but not the
that's, yeah,
city.
school.
It's all
True.
blue.
Yeah.
And that's gonna be the green park until all those people that live there die. No matter what we call it, they're gonna be the green park. So if it's green, that's good.
It's been a green park, you might as well.
I know, it's to throw them off. If you give them a color, they're the green park always.
Still on my.
That's what they call it.
I did want to add one note when it comes to spending the 2026 funded amount, to make a note on that the council or Kyle, you review that replacing that hedge area that the resident brought up.
So what we're gonna do with that is, so obviously that'll go back to Dave. There is standard, park procedures with those property lines and how, park to park, we operate with that. So Dave's gonna review that, review the notes, certainly, to the resident that came here, to the point of that it was discussed at commission. That's something that we're gonna have to look forward into is, was it discussed here, but was it a recommendation? And then ultimately council makes that decision based on what did staff bring forward? What are the costs? What are the potential problems? So we'll definitely do a deeper dive into that. And certainly there'll be, I mean, we'll let the commission know what happened with that when we come back in May, to discuss that, but certainly that will be dived into separately. So.
I could back down on the surface if you do something for the poor gentleman that used to live there and the new person that does move there.
Unfortunately, I'm not the one that could probably make.
So
those calls.
let's get,
One option I would say, just based off of what she brought up, is put in some netting on the basketball court. So on the side that's going towards the properties, you put in some poles and some netting.
so let's have Kyle do the research on this, but let's get back to the color. Are we
No matter what.
are we okay with the color that Northland has, or is it?
I like it.
All right.
I'm good with it.
We're good with the color, Kyle. All right. Got any more monkey wrenches to throw in now?
I'm hoping not.
Okay, all right. All right,
Oh, where are we?
thanks, everyone. All right, Arts in the Park, no, I'm sorry, AIP contracts.
Yeah, yep, Arts in the Park.
Arts in the, AIP.
Yep.
Mhm.
I was wondering when Parks was gonna start having acronyms.
Yeah.
Yes, it's probably gonna start coming your way. So just, we bring these contracts forward. Obviously it is just good insurance for both sides, right? The city and the performers. So it just kind of lays out the days, what they're getting paid for the performance and kind of the times. There's a couple where there's multiple performances in the same night and some of there's crossover, so they will show the same times, but our coordinator, I guess, if you will, Woody McBride, who coordinates the musicians and what times they're coming there, that's all sorted out. So this is just we bring these for council approval, just being that they're a contract to make sure that we all follow what's agreed upon. So it just kind of gives you the layout. Just there's a couple that we have to get clarification because they didn't initial whether we can do photos or not. And I think there's just two contracts that we just got to get that confirmation, but we'll do that prior to getting council approval on them. But it's just to bring the contracts here as part of our process to get the commission's recommendation of approval. I know there's only one thing, and I want to make sure that Karen doesn't think I'm trying to sneak something by, is a date. There was a date where we had to make a choice to either keep Church of Cash and give them a different date, and that had to take in the last Arts in the Park on the corn feed. So it'll be Church of Cash, and then Rockin' Hollywoods will be the week before. So that's something I just want to make sure because I know historically, I think.
It's lucky that's a really good one. What happened to Memories? Wasn't it Memories? We had, not last year, but the year before.
Oh, I wasn't around for that, so.
We could ask Woody about that. It was one, I go around all the time, talk to the people and, music up, music down. We all bought the CDs that night. Everybody said, where'd you find them? When you can get them back again? I mean, this is the best thing that ever happened to Forest Lake. And now they're gone, so.
And that was Memories?
They were so popular and.
Wow.
And-
What were they called, Karen?
I think it was Memories, but then there was the singer, the one who pretended to be the singer that had the bad word, and we had to clear that up. What was that one?
He is coming back.
I didn't see him.
That is, I believe, Billy Joel.
Oh, Mick
Sterling.
Sterling. Yeah.
Mick Sterling. Mick Sterling was the performer that
Okay.
Karen had to, and
Without the word.
he may or may not add a bad word. And we
That's what he said he
It's
didn't,
music.
what he
Yeah.
said he didn't have to. He's got other songs he can sing.
So Kyle, we need a motion to approve the contracts recommend approval of
Just-
contracts, and we don't have to go individually, right?
No, correct.
Okay.
Just as long as
Okay.
Are these all repeat vendors or?
It's a mix. It's
Yeah.
whether it's been the last few years. I don't know. I don't think we have a brand new one this year. We've pulled a couple back. I believe I'm gonna integrate some surveys in this year about music and try to open that up to folks if they want to vote and if they like them or not, but I don't think we have a brand new one.
Okay.
I love this. The Forest Lakes Got Talent Showcase. I've never heard of such a thing.
Well, and I think that's a new one, isn't it?
They've done that in the past
Yeah.
with this Randy. Apparently he's been at the Arts in the Park in the past.
Okay.
And how about Magic Norm?
Also someone that I think had been in previously from my understanding.
But not last year.
Not last year. No.
Okay. Well, surprise, surprise, we'll probably. look
Okay.
them.
Any other comments on this? Otherwise, a motion to recommend council approval of the contracts.
So moved.
Karen moves.
I'll second.
Sue seconds. Any more talk? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, that passes. Park Master Plan.
All right. Shift through to that. So we have another long document, about 100 pages that we got to get through tonight, and just kidding.
I'd like to stay up late.
So I've printed out just kind of where we're at with the Parks Master Plan, the steering committee. We've wrapped up, got a lot of good feedback from the members.
This one,
Obviously, staff has spent time reviewing. There's, we were hoping that we would be bringing the final draft tonight, but there's a few changes, some updates we got to get done yet, but we feel pretty good about this draft. What we're wanting to do is we're wanting to give each commissioner a packet. And, within, I'll be sending out an email for a hard date of having any comments, concerns, questions. And then the goal is to bring it back full draft by the May commission meeting. So just want to give you all an opportunity just to go through it. Even the steering committee, I think this is a little bit different than a draft that you guys had reviewed. The only thing to note too is that the appendices are not in this draft. They are there, but there's again just a few things we're running through and changing. So updating, a lot of it is just updating the park system as a whole, what playgrounds have been redone, what parks are where they're on the capital planning, what are the needs of that park, et cetera. Those are the things that we're kind of working on right now. So there's a lot of information in here. Don't get overwhelmed by it, but just do your best to read through and see again if you have any big questions on things or big concerns, or if you want to see something else added. We're going to have a window of time to do that before the final draft comes back.
Are you talking about all of that on our computer?
No, I'm going to give you a hard copy.
Oh,
It's
great.
gonna give you.
I was gonna offer to
It's
buy
gonna make you
one.
happy, Karen.
I was gonna buy one otherwise.
So
There's no QR codes.
Could always print it.
I will, again, without these being, they're not an official anything, right? They're drafts. So that's why we're just doing it hard copy, just being that they're not
Okay.
necessarily an official
All right.
form yet.
I agree.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yep.
I hate to zoom it in.
I know, so you've been sitting on the steering committee, right?
Yeah,
Yes, Sue and Aaron.
yeah. you're-
On air, I'm sorry. So, you had any comments on that being on the steering committee for us before we dive into it?
It's a lot of information. I
Okay.
mean, a lot of stuff. But
We put it in your worthy hands.
I look for it to provide that outlook or the, future, stuff like that. I mean,
I think the approach I took was very,
yeah.
very methodical, and seemed like it went well.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, thanks for your time on that. Another meetings, so. All right,
Missed the last one, but
all right, number 10 on the agenda, special event requests. Kyle again.
Yeah, so.
Has to
per-
be you. You're the only one here tonight.
Yeah,
Love
right.
it.
Don't have choices. Sorry about that.
Good.
So per our code, we do have, the language in there that if there's an alcohol request that comes in, for, within a park, that it does come to the commission for the recommendation, that we're able to hold that event. There is also, there's a long process. I'll kind of dive into that, but the code, involves again, a parks commission recommendation and then also approval of chief of police. So this event is a local business in Forest Lake hosting a pickleball tournament and wanting to use Fenway pickleball courts. And they're also adding some additional opportunities there, including food trucks, sauna truck, live music, a beer tent.
Plunge. It's-
Yeah, and it's It's going to be held on Thursday, May 7th, the whole event, May 7th. So it's going to be during the week, and they're going to run it, I believe, from 9 a.m. to 7 p.m. And again, it's going to be a professionally ran tournament. So someone that, runs pickleball tournaments. It's kind of like an open tournament, but they're going to have different levels and all that. So it's definitely has the potentials to be a great use of that facility. They do have to rent it out. So there is the city parks will get, revenue off that facility, being that they rent it and secure those courts just for themselves, and they're not open to the public. So the beer tent, it's going to be, the plan is they're trying to get it finalized to run. It's going to be under a 20 by 40 tent. And that is per the request of chief of police. It's got to be fenced in, and they've already agreed to do that. And then also having the American Legion using their liquor license and having to go through the proper channels to get that all approved is being done. So something that they're wanting to do annually. So again, it's just it's a great opportunity to use a park amenity. So.
I went into their office yesterday just to ask them a little bit more questions when you had sent this new addition over. They're in the same building as my office as well. And so I think it's great. I love that it's during the week. It's during the week. The kids are still in school. I don't know myself of the community ed calendar or the pickleball courts at all. I don't know how any of those schedules work. But I did love that it's during the day. I did look that night, so I'm going to hopefully be a sponsor for that. The kids do have lacrosse that night up at Fenway. I don't think it's a huge deal. They're going to be wrapping up for the day anyways, to be honest with you, if they're not already. But I love the idea. I think it's super fun and something to look forward to. Local businesses and local people to be involved. There's a lot of people that go play pickleball up there. And so I think the more and more that we can do to bring that in, get everybody involved together, is a beautiful thing. So.
Thanks, Dickie. Karen?
And the special request is to be having the liquor on board. That has been done at parks in the past. The American Legion is great. The chief of police are great. Everybody's great. And so there's only a few people that are hanging out there yet that you can't have that on a school property. But it's always been approved. I think it's a great idea. It's well policed. It's well taken care of, and it brings in a whole different kind of people. And the guy was at the chamber event this morning, and he's so excited about it and got everybody there excited about it. So I think you're going to have a really good start to a pickleball tournament. And I would like to make a motion that is that what you have to do to allow the
Yeah.
liquor?
We actually, I don't, we do need the official motion. And
It'd
just to
be, Karen, a motion to recommend allowing alcohol sales for the pickleball tournament held at Fenway Park Pickleball Courts on May 7th, 2026, I would add. That would be your motion.
Correct.
All right.
And just to clarify, all that whole facility where it's going to be operating is on city. There's no school district property involved.
Right,
Yep,
but
yep.
kids play there.
Correct.
That's what you're going to hear.
Yep.
Okay. Karen makes that motion. Melissa seconds. Any more discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Right. Opposed? And that one passes. Are we at the end of the agenda, Kyle? I gotta,
Oh, let's do some more stuff.
We are
Hopefully.
I don't know if you're gonna get a second on that, Karen. Staff updates.
Yeah, so just have a couple of fun new things. Obviously, that event is kind of one of the things on the horizon that I think a lot of people are looking forward to. We're also, I've teamed up with Community Ed on attempting to bring an adult kickball league. We're looking to host that at Belts Park starting in July on Thursdays. It's just going to be, I think, up to 6 teams, play 3 games a night out at Belts Park, and see if we can get some folks to sign up. It sounds like it's got some decent traction so far. It's been pushed out. So yeah, we're hoping that goes, because there's some fun ideas around that. So
They don't mind that it's a mixed marking. You're going to have a tournament on a mixed marking for tennis and for pickleball, and they don't mind that? They can come out and have a tournament?
Kickball.
Kickball.
Brad,
Yeah, yeah,
I'm still
kickball.
thinking pickleball.
No,
The
no,
American Legion part of that one?
It'll be in the.
Say what?
The American Legion part of that one?
No, there's maybe some potentials if
We should.
we get some traction going, yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's an idea that
Sales.
if it,
Seriously.
if it goes, we
hold on
can
one
maybe
minute.
invite like a food truck down and ice cream truck or something and, yeah, we're just
Think that'd
gonna
be nice for
see,
kids
see
to
where it
run
goes. I
around
think
with.
it's something that our community's,
Yeah.
you know, asked about or, you know, is looking for some more adult activity. And it's adult kickball, co-ed, but yeah, so we're hoping that goes. Like I said, that's, I think, set to start like July 9th. So Thursdays.
Have the paramedic on site, MCLs, ACLs.
Yeah, hamstrings. On the horizon, we have a Memorial Day event that annually takes place at Lakeside Park. Obviously, this year is going to be maybe a little bit more special with site work being done. We're also working with the American Legion and VFW who typically host that. We're going to try to add some music down there from 10 to noon after their event. There's also going to be a food truck down there, Minnesota Frost and Flames, and they're actually going to be handing out like pulled pork sandwiches for free till they run out. So the Memorial Day, it's going to be on Memorial Day Monday. Again, we're going to have the typical ceremony that takes place from 9 to 10, and then 10 to noon, have some music down there. There's going to be a keynote speaker is actually the artist who's doing the bronze sculpture. She's going to be a keynote because she served and she has ties to Forest Lake. So that she's going to provide an update, potentially have a mock at the site. We're going to invite the whole artist team to do a 10-minute, 15-minute presentation, as well as folks on the memorial committee to also just present, go down to the site, explain everything there, and just kind of have an open discussion of what's at the site, and then kind of create that excitement for the center sculpture coming in 2027. So that event is again on the horizon as well. So and other than that, those are the big things that I had down here for tonight.
Can I throw out like just a suggestion or maybe thoughts or, you know, how we have those little bricks for, yeah, the pavers and stuff like that. What if when we're redoing these parks and stuff, we give people the option to do, like, buy a bench for a family member? Something like the fair has, like, I just thought about that in our different pictures of those, of our different designs. And I like the ones that have the umbrella going over, and then if you could even add a more personal touch to it. It's just something I think about.
Well, we're supposed to be getting that one price for all of these things listed to us.
So Nick, before, go ahead, Kyle.
Oh, yeah, last year we had adopted a donation policy.
Yeah.
So that is something that's in place, but certainly working on getting it promoted. And we're pretty close to having a full list of the general. We're not going to have a to the T, but just typically saying. I mean, actually, we did have a gentleman just recently come in asking about bench. So it's something that we're maybe applying that policy as well. So, but yeah, it's great thinking.
Thank you.
The
Yeah, if
fences already
anybody
get
is-
Put up for the pickleball court?
Yeah.
One that we voted on?
I'm sorry, Aaron.
I was just asking Kyle, did the fences ever get put in for the pickleball court?
Yes.
Oh, the gates?
Yeah,
Yep,
the
Yep,
gates.
yep, those had been installed last fall. Yep.
And they've already been a big hit with folks that the Public Works crew did a great job getting the nets up even before parks are officially open as of today, right?
Yep, officially today. We shoot for like the Monday of the week of the 15th, but the 15th is our general. Everything's opened up.
Yep. So they've been
Yeah.
a big hit, and
Awesome.
I'm sure if we went over there now, you'd still see people playing. So it's
Oh, it's
popular.
just a big, huge craze. I mean, you should see down in Woodbury, there is this massive facility. My dad just retired. He's over there playing 2 leagues. My mom's still working. She's gone. It's the new thing.
I know. What happened to tennis?
That's what I
Tennis
was
is too
just
hard.
yesterday. I was like,
Funny.
what's happened to tennis? And
I don't know. It's
so
got a
hard.
long
I'm
thing.
so hard.
You can score a lot easier. The difference is how much you have to run around and
Yeah.
Okay. See, that's a little, I
a little harder ball, lots of little things.
So,
Digress.
all right, Parks and Commissioner updates, and Nikki, anything else? We'll come down the aisle here. We'll roll here.
I don't have anything. Thank you.
Okay, Aaron,
Good.
Aaron,
Believe it or not, nothing.
we believe it.
Oh.
Sue,
I just wanted to follow up on that discussion last time. Doing a tour of the parks.
Yeah.
We should pick a date. Maybe do that by email or something.
I have a van.
Yeah, were we thinking a weekend or a night or with more daylight now coming or what's everybody thinking? We're all
I work
busy
right
after-
in town, so honest to God, you tell me, I'll be there.
I'm saying anytime after the beginning of May, because I'm leaving soon, so.
Okay.
Wait for me.
We have to.
But a weeknight would be great.
Staff can certainly send out like a scheduling poll.
Perfect.
That just.
Thanks, Kyle.
Yep.
Perfect.
Please not Thursdays.
Maybe pick a couple times because I think it would be
Different days, different
it'd be
times.
a lot of driving to get them all in one.
Oh,
Yeah.
school bus.
Huh.
You could
Party
drive.
bus.
No, I'm just even the amount of time to get to all the parks, it would be,
Oh,
we got a couple.
then I have a van. I can make it.
All right. And then certainly assuming a majority is going to be there, probably have to post that on the city. There's going to be a
I'll have to navigate that with.
navigate
Yep.
that. Yeah. Okay. All right. All right.
I think
Well,
Melissa.
thanks, everyone. A lot of,
We forgot to make.
oh, I'm sorry, Melissa, sorry.
The list, sorry.
Oh,
They're quick. Some things that the people of Forest Lake have been asking me about, that cell tower going in at Colin Camp is causing a stir, so be ready for that.
I heard about that today.
Be ready for the meeting.
Facebook groups.
Concerns, there's all sorts of things. I'm not gonna go into all the things. You're gonna hear it there. And my reply was that they're very well thought out and the city will definitely listen to that and to come forth and just bring those. So between now and then, just know that, is there other options? Cause I know a cell tower will come in and say, this is our perfect place. I have a friend who has one in Hayward on her property and they wanted to put it right across in the field, right across from her house. And she's like, how about down that way, a half mile at the edge of the.
I think it's important as the Parks Commission, just to note that, by discussing that, this was the first step to bringing it to the community. So no decisions have been made that this is what it was, we're open to it, but we want feedback from the community first. So just make sure people know that this is what we're asking for. Yep. Awesome.
This just came to us and that's why we're putting it out to the community. So.
Good.
Glad that I was right on track.
And thanks for the heads up.
Yep.
Bag of action.
The other hot topic, of course, the dog park. That was all the rage at Rotary today. What's going on with that? And I did get a flyer from Ely about their dog park and we were kind of talking about the size of that. I'll bring that. They're doing some fundraisers with that. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention is that April 25th, there is a citywide cleanup from 9 to 11 a.m. Down in Lakeside Park is where the Good Samaritans meet, where they're meeting. So just wanted that out to.
And if I can just add just one thing
Yeah.
about the dog park staff, we did walk that favored site down by Fenway. There's, we're planning on coming back in May with a more, full report on everything, but just to know that we started working on that as well. So thanks for bringing that up.
And
Thanks.
just to add to hers, guess what I saw on the streets today, Mo? City folks picking up our Rotary spot. So I had to go over to the edge and I says, who are you representing? And he said, the city, because they're going to mow. We are in such good shape for Saturday. They sent a crew out to pick up our area.
Now we have less. Gosh.
I know, I wanted to tell him that, but I was so excited that he picked up all the junk. So, but then they're gonna mow. So you know how much nicer it is after they mow.
Right.
So the 28th, you want to, the 25th,
25th.
you want to go down there and bring your kids. It's fun. There's prizes and there's lunch afterwards.
Oh.
And now we need more bags from other areas because the city, they didn't even
I
keep the bag. It's a contest. How many people get the most bags?
Oh. Fast.
Got it.
That's it.
All right. All right. Lucky number 13 is adjourned. Somebody want to make a motion? Aaron wants to be here all night.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Sue moves and Melissa seconds.
Melissa second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Thanks, everyone.